if your autopilot is on and you're in like Denver and it snows out and your car gets a little sideways, does it correct itself? Does it
it's got great traction control.
But does it know how to like correct? Do you know how like
when
your ass end kicks out, you know how to counter steer?
Oh yeah, no, it's really good.
It knows how to do it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So like if you're going sideways, it knows how to correct itself?
It generally won't go sideways.
It won't?
No.
Why not?
It will correct itself before it goes sideways.
Even in black ice?
Yeah, there's videos where you can see the car,
that alone.
Traction control system is very good. It makes you feel like Superman. It's great. You feel like you can it will make you feel like this incredible driver.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Now, how do you program that?
We do our testing on like an ice lake in Sweden.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like Norway and Canada and a few other places.
Porsche does a lot of that too.
New Zealand as well.
They do some of their driver training school on these frozen surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just the car's going sideways whether you like it or not, and you have to learn how to slide into corners and how to adjust.
Yeah. Well, electric cars have really great traction control because the reaction time is so fast.
Right.
So with a gasoline car, you've got a lot of latency. It takes a while for the engine to react, and but for electric motors, incredibly precise. That's why you can imagine if you had like a printer or something, you wouldn't have a gasoline engine printer. That would be pretty weird. Or like a surgical device. It's going to be an electric motor on the surgical device on the printer. Gasoline engine's going to be just chugging away. It's not going to have the reaction time. But to an electric motor, it's operating at the millisecond level. So it can turn on and off traction within like inches of getting on like let's say you drive a patch of ice, it'll turn traction off and then turn it on a couple inches right after the ice, like if there's a little patch of ice. Because in the frame of the electric motor, you're moving incredibly slowly. You're like a snail. You're a snail. You're just moving so slowly because it can see at 1,000 frames a second. And so it's like, say, one Mississippi, it just thought about things 1,000 times.
So it's realized that your wheels are not getting traction. It understands there's some slippery surface that you're driving on.
Yes.
And it makes adjustments in real time.
Yes. And milliseconds.
That'd be so much safer than a regular car.
Yes. It is.
Just that alone, for loved ones, you'd want them to be driving your car.
Yes.
I'm on board. Fuck motors. Dude, fuck regular motors.
The S, X, and 3 have the lowest probability of injury of any cars ever tested by the U.S. government.
Whoa.
This is, yeah, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty crazy. Like people still sue us. Like they'll have like some accident at 60 miles an hour where they like twisted an ankle and they sue. Like they'll be dead in another car. They still sue us.
But that's to be expected, isn't it?
It is to be expected.
Do you take that into account with like the same sort of fatalistic, undertones? Just go, you got to just let it go. This is what people do.
I tell you, I've got
That's what it is.
Quite a lot of respect for the justice system. Judges are very smart, and so far I've found judges to be very good at justice, because and juries are good too. Like they're actually quite good. People, you read about like occasional errors in the justice system. Let me tell you, most of the time they're very good. And like the guy I mentioned that who fell asleep in the car and he rode over a cyclist, and that was what encouraged me to get autopilot out as soon as possible. That guy sued us.
He sued you for falling asleep.
Yes, I'm not kidding. He blamed it on the new car smell.
What?
Yes.
He blamed him falling asleep on your new car smell. There's a lawyer.
This is a real thing that happened.
Somewhere there's a lawyer that thought that through in front of his laptop before he wrote that up.
Yes, he got a lawyer. and he sued us. And the judge was like, this is crazy. Stop bothering me. No.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank God there's a judge out there with a brain.
I tell you, judges are very good.
Some of them. What about that judge
I
that
have a
sent
lot
those
of
boys up the river in Pennsylvania who was selling those kids out? You know about that story?
Nope.
Yeah. Judge was selling young boys to prisons. He was literally under bribes for
Was this an elected judge or
he
because
was
like sometimes you have a judge that's like actually a politician.
No, he was
That's
an
not-
elected judge. This is a very famous story.
Okay.
He's in jail right now, I think, for the rest of his life. And he put away. He would take like a young boy would do something like steal something from a store,
Okay.
and he would put him in detention for 5 years, something ridiculously egregious. And they investigated his history, and they found out that he was literally being paid off. Was it by private prisons? Is that what the deal was? There was some sort of but anyway, this judge is two judges?
Two judges. Kids for Cash scandal is what it's called.
Yeah.
2008, yeah. Common pleas judges. So I think they are elected.
And who was paying them? Someone, it was proven to the point where they're in jail now that
Yeah.
someone was paying them to put more asses in the seats in these private prisons.
like $1 million payment to put them in the youth centers builder.
$1 million payment.
Yeah.
I do think it's this private
Some
prisons
judges.
thing is creating a bad incentive.
dark. Right.
Yes. But I mean, that judge is in prison.
Thank God.
Yes. But I, for people who think perhaps the justice system consists entirely of judges like that, I want to assure you this is not the case. The vast majority of judges are very good.
I agree.
And they care about justice, and they could have made a lot more money if they wanted to be a trial lawyer. And instead, they cared about justice, and they made less money because they care about justice. And that's why they're judges.
I feel that same way about police officers. I
Yes.
feel like there's so many interactions with so many different
Yes.
people with police officers that the very few that stand out that are horrific, we tend to look at that like this is evidence that police are all corrupt, and I think that's crazy.
No, most police are very honest.
Yes.
And like the military,
have an insanely
military personnel that I know are
Yes.
very honorable, ethical people.
Yes.
And much more honorable and ethical than the average person. That's
I
my
agree.
impression.
That is my impression as well.
But and that's not to suggest that we be complacent and assume everyone's honest and ethical. And obviously, if somebody is given a trusted place in society, such as being a police officer or a judge, and they are corrupt, then we must be extra vigilant against such situations
Yes.
and take action.